That was a bit heavy metal, rock and roll, that. Can we have some funny music at the start of the second half? Yep. Thanks for coming. OK, what news do you know about? Leveson inquiry, that's ongoing. News of the World went down. I was sorry to see the News of the World go down. I think it was a great campaigning newspaper. Not everything I say is sarcastic, Sheffield. No, who can forget the News of the World's high-profile campaign against child sex offenders, which led, didn't it, to News of the World readers burning down the home of a paediatrician. Throwing rocks at a pedalo. And stamping on a centipede. Top of the show, paedophile jokes going down well. Good to have been on television and finally managed to attract so much of Jimmy Carr's audience. The show's not aimed at you, don't come again. I'm trying to find out what news you know about so I can weave the stories into a seamless 2-hour narrative-driven whole. A seamless narrative-driven whole. You have to do that, I think. If you're a name act going out doing the long theatre shows, you can't just go out and do 90 minutes of unrelated little gags that you can subsequently chop up into smaller parcels and resell to Mock the Week and Live at the Apollo. Oh, yeah, you can do that, can't you? So what news do you know about? I think the funniest news story at the moment is the trial of the Norwegian neo-Nazi mass murderer Anders Behring Breivik. And you're going, hang on, there's nothing funny about that, Stu. But there is. And it's this, that on his website, Anders Behring Breivik, the Norwegian neo-Nazi mass murderer, has written this genuine sentence: Jeremy Clarkson's Top Gear is one of the few programmes worth watching on the BBC. I know. Now, very rarely do you see a better example of what philosophers call the banality of evil. And remember, all that's required for Jeremy Clarkson's triumph is that Richard Hammond do nothing. Remember when Jeremy Clarkson made those jokes about shooting strikers and everyone complained? There was a guy from the Daily Telegraph went on the Channel 4 News to defend him, and he said, come on, he said, it was just a joke, he said. It's not as if a Jeremy Clarkson fan has ever gone out and shot anyone. I thought, well, there was that one guy, the mass murderer. Poor old Colonel Gaddafi had a bad year last year, didn't he? The Libyans got fed up with their leader, pulled him out of a sewer, shot him in the face, mutilated the anus of his corpse with a knife and chucked him in a meat refrigeration unit. But they did that off their own backs, didn't they, the Libyans? No one made them do it. They did it entirely voluntarily, of their own initiative. What better example is there of the big society in action? Will the big society work? Whether we think so depends on our immediate experience of society around us. Now, of course, David Cameron thinks the big society will work because he lives in a nice little village in Oxfordshire, Witney, and four times a year, all the local people in Witney, that's David Cameron, Jeremy Clarkson, Rebecca Brooks, and the cheese bloke from Blur. They all get together voluntarily, they go out and they clear out the waste ground in the village, big society in action. Now, I know the big society will work, because where I live, in Hackney, in East London, last August, all the local Turkish shopkeepers went out onto Dalston High Road and attacked the rioters with kebab knives. Now, this show is called Carpet Remnant World. Now, since I've been on the telly, I'm picking up a lot of stragglers, people that don't normally come and see me. There's twice as many people as I've played to in Sheffield before here tonight, and the kind of people that come and see people just off the telly, the kind of shows you go and see by comics, they're normally called things like Laugh Time, aren't they, or Jokerama 6, something like that. Now, if you've seen me before, and I hope you have, I don't like new people coming. You'll know what my shows, they tend to be a relationship between the title and the content. That's the bare minimum of what you should offer, I think. Not so much this year, though. It's not really come together very well, this show. It was supposed to be about idealised notions of society and how we behave as collective groups, and But I've been a bit busy with one thing or another. It's not really worked. But what I will do is about 5 minutes from the end, it's about 10 o'clock, I will repeat the phrase "Carpet Remnant World" over some music, and that will give the illusion of structure. And big laughs down here for that. People down here, the people that bought the tickets first, they've seen me before, and they go, "No, of course there'll be content and structure. We've seen him before. This is a comedic double bluff, ha-ha," right? But up there's a lot of people, they don't really know what they've come to. They've come... Friends have brought them, the very worst. A couple of people that like me, they've gone, "Well, let's get Gene and Chris to come as well." And they've come and they don't know who I am, and they've been whispering all through it up there, in the top bit there. Thinking, is this who you wanted to see? Seems like an aggressive lecture. And it's very strong, and it will gradually, that whispering doubt, that will spread all round the top balcony up there, and that will be no one laughing up there by the end. Because of people bringing their friends, and I was quite happy with one night in Sheffield, to be honest, and you've brought friends along, and you can feel it's not as good as it was last time. Which is a shame, because we're filming it tonight, so thanks. I won some awards, that doesn't help, British Comedy Awards. Because people go, "Oh, he's won an award, we'll enjoy that." You won't. Winning a British Comedy Award is like having a big sign put over your head saying, "Hey dicks, come to this." What can you do though? You can't stop people coming, you know. It'll be all right. It's strong down here. I won't even look up there, I don't think. So we'll press on into the void. No, I thought I'd record this here, because last time I was in this theatre, it was fantastic, but the audiences, we've got 2 nights now, more people come, but you can see it's a worse kind of person, isn't it? Shame. It's gone to all this trouble with all these cameras now. Oh, I come to Sheffield, it was brilliant last time. You know, it was, but it's all right, isn't it? It's not going well down here, isn't it? But up there, there's people down here thinking, "Oh, it's the kind of thing he does, and mucks about like this, it'll be all right." And up there, there's people going, "No, he doesn't. I've not seen him before. He doesn't seem to be able to do stand-up." I can do it really well, actually. I'm really good at it. I'm so good at it that one of the things that I do, I make it look like I can't do it. But I can. And if you're sitting there, having been brought by friends, thinking, "Oh, he can't do it," the question you have to... I've been on stage thousands of times, literally. The question you have to ask yourselves up there, people's friends, is how many times have you been to stand up, and what kind of acts have you seen? It's maybe 4 or 5 times. You haven't seen the right sorts of people. You've got no context for me. So you're not in any position to have an opinion about it. Good, that's warmed the room up. It'll be all right, don't worry about it. Okay. So, on May the 2nd last year, I was driving along the M4. That's what I mainly do now. I mainly drive around on motorways or look after my kids. That's why I've not had really enough time to make this show good. So, I was driving on the M4. It was the day Bin Laden was shot by the Americans, and there were all different Americans coming on the radio talking about what they thought about it, and it made me think, what we like, collective groups of people, human society. Here's 4 real quotes by real Americans on May the 2nd, the day Bin Laden was shot. This first guy, he's called Thomas Cox. He's a construction worker talking in Times Square on Radio 4, and he said, "I made Photoshop pictures of the Statue of Liberty holding Osama's bloody severed head and handed them out to the crowd. It's payback." It's not, is it? The payback for Osama, surely, was being shot in the face at point-blank range. Thomas Cox's offensive collage, it merely adds insult to injury. Bin Laden was buried at sea, you'll remember. As Thomas Cox goes on, he says, "We should have mounted his head on a spike. I am hoping that the fish and the crabs are having a good..." That's never got a laugh before. I'm glad we came to Sheffield. After all, people found the combination of fish and crab amusing here in a way that no other British city has. It was worth it. But only down here, the people up there, with their fish and crab, who cares? He said, "There isn't time to improvise tonight, unfortunately. We're filming it, so I'll just move on. Otherwise, I could have got 10 minutes out of that fish and crab bit, you know." Hello, Michael. Yes. Are you bringing the roadshow here to Sheffield? Yeah, fish and crab stuff. They love it. I basically go everywhere first and I sound it out for him. He ignores what I say. "We should have mounted his head on a spike," he said. "I am hoping that the fish and the crabs are having..." No, see, second time. Yeah, only once though, only once. Don't milk it. Paul Tonkinson will sort it out for you. All right. "We should have mounted his head on a spike. I'm hoping that the fish and the crabs are having a good meal on his eyeballs." Now, it's a very apposite quote, that, because as you all know, under Sharia law, if a Muslim man is buried at sea, it is required that their body be protected from the attentions of fish. And I think it was that this Thomas Cox was alluding to there. If you've not seen me before, I don't think that. I think the opposite of that. Okay? That's one of the things I do. I'll make a very bold statement about something, but the implication is it's actually the opposite of... I'm going to do that about 6 times tonight. And then later on, about 9:45, I'll go on about something for too long. That'll be later, all right? Now, this next quote from an American called Stephen Reginella, again on Radio 4 in Times Square, and he said, "They should have brought Bin Laden's body here and hung it from the lamppost. In fact, they should have roasted him here, like a chicken. So he would have seen what it felt like." It's all over the place, that, isn't it? "They should have brought Bin Laden's body here, alive, presumably, and hung it from the lamppost." What lamppost is that? The New York City designated corpse roasting lamppost. Who should have done that? They should. Who are they? The New York City designated corpse roasting team. They don't do a lot of corpse roasting. Their duties mainly entail maintenance of the corpse roasting lamppost. Roast him like a chicken, so he would have seen what it felt like. There you are, Bin Laden on the lamppost, roasting, yeah. Can you see what that feels like? I can feel what it feels like. Yeah, that wasn't a question. What if we hold this mirror up, full-length mirror? Can you see what it feels like now? I can see what it looks like. This is exactly the kind of unhelpful behaviour you would expect. Roasted like a chicken. Why? Like, we've all roasted a chicken at some point in our lives, haven't we? No need for this kind of frontier justice, is there? He didn't have any issues with chickens, did he, Bin Laden? It was the West that he hated, wasn't it? And our values, not chicken. Imagine if he had hated chickens, Bin Laden. and he'd applied the same level of firepower over a 10-year period to the eradication of poultry that he had to Western democratic systems. I'm not an expert, but I think we'd be looking at a very different global geopolitical setup. Again, the laughs are down here for that, aren't they? Down here, up there, people down here, people up there going, what are they laughing at down there? I'll tell you. I said, if he'd hated chickens, we'd be looking at a very different global geopolitical setup. And the people down here, I think, they just thought for a second about what that would be like. They imagined it in their own heads. I don't know what they imagined. Chickens on fire, I don't know. But the important thing, people's friends who've come by mistake, is they put in an extra bit of effort and they got more laughs out of that in their own heads. But you just sat up there, didn't you, going, oh, he's finished saying that. Then you had a little think, didn't you, about something else. Oh, the £90,000 for an apartment in the park. And then you went, oh, I wonder what he'll say now. But if you're sitting there, I'm not one of these, I don't act things out, you know, I just do the gag and I just leave it. And I walk away from it. I let people make of it what they will, you know. There's not, you know what I mean? To raise your game. This next quote from an American was on the YouTube. You've seen that, where the people film themselves talking. This was an American lady talking to camera. She said, "I so happy Osama be dead. I climb stoplight and show my two titties at the crowd. Everyone be cheering, everyone be whistling. I so happy Osama be dead. My titties be pretty big titties too. Osama, one holy motherfucker, but he a man. And I say, he'd got a kick out these hot titties." Word. This last one, this was on the YouTube as well. A chap running around in one of the big towns there, waving a flag. And he said, they should get Max Hardcore out of jail. Now, Max, I didn't know who Max Hardcore was when I heard this quote. He's a bloke that he's in violent American pornography. And I didn't know who he was, so I looked him up on the internet. And now I'm on the sex offenders register. Max Hardcore. I thought he was just a very efficient builder. This is what this... They should get Max Hardcore out of jail to reverse cowgirl Osama's body on the White House lawn. Max would tear that Muslim faggot's dead body a new hole. Know what I'm saying? They should get Max to reverse cowgirl him on the White House lawn and FedEx the tapes to his family saying, "Look at this, you gay cunts." Fuck with America, you are fucking with God. Prepare to have your assholes ripped open. I know, it's amazing quote. Now, I don't think it's fair to make hard and fast generalisations about a whole society based on just 4 random quotes. But if I was going to do that, I'd say, what do we learn about America from these 4 quotes? It's obsessed with its own blind patriotism, with its own religious fundamentalism, with sexualised violence, and there's a weird homophobic undercurrent going through some of those quotes as well. Interesting thing about those 4 quotes. The second interesting thing about those 4 quotes, I think, is that of those 4 quotes, only 2 of them were made up by me. Such is the depth of your blind anti-American prejudice. You've got no idea which ones they are. You go, no, they could all be true, Stewart. If they're not, they should be, because that's what they're like. making stuff up, making up quotes. Not good enough, is it? But, you know, what can I do? I've got nothing. Drive around and look after kids, I've got nothing. Anyway, that's enough making fun of America and the West. It's time now to mock Islam and to ridicule individual Muslims. People are very keen on that now. In comedy, there was a big piece in the Daily Mail in December by Jan Moyer saying there's not enough anti-Islamic stand-up in Britain at the moment. Of course, they're very keen on balance at the Daily Mail. It's been a watchword of the paper going way back to the 1930s. I know, it's a good joke, no one gets it. So, but it's an occupational hazard of stand-up now. If you do a joke about anything, you don't immediately follow it up with a joke about Islam. People go, oh, what's wrong with you? These are the kind of emails you get, this sort of thing. Dear BBC, I enjoyed Stewart Lee's making fun of Chris Moyles on TV last night, and I look forward to him mocking the Prophet Muhammad in the same way next week. Yours, Norris McWhirter. Nuremberg. Another one here. Dear BBC, I enjoyed watching Stewart Lee making jokes about crisps last night. But I doubt we will be seeing him having a go at any Muslim snacks in the near future. On the politically correct BBC, it appears there's one law for crisps. And quite another for those mini poppadom things that they sell in Marks and Spencer's. Yours, Norris McWhirter. Argentina, yeah. Well, it's a later postmark. So, I know, I don't get it. It's time... So time to ridicule a Muslim now, in accordance with the Daily Mail's demands. And the Muslim we're going to be ridiculing tonight is called Mohammed Al-Kabaizi. He's from Dubai, and he's one of the top Muslim guys out there. And, yeah, people down there laughing at that. As well they should, because of course, in Islam, there is no pyramid power structure. It's a succession of imams all with equal power. So the idea of a top Muslim is... Anyway, this is what he said, Mohammed Al-Kabaizi, about bin Laden being buried at sea. He said, they can say they buried him at sea, but they cannot say they did it according to Islam. Sea burials are permissible for Muslims in extraordinary circumstances only, and this is not one of them. Let's have a quick recap on those circumstances. Osama bin Laden was shot in the face at point-blank range in front of his family after a possibly illegal American incursion into Pakistani airspace following a 10-year campaign to bring him to justice for flying two hijacked, fully laden passenger aircraft into the World Trade Center, killing literally thousands and thousands of people. What has made this Mohammed Al-Kabaizi so jaded that this does not fit his definition of extraordinary circumstances? What a jaded man, Sheffield. Not the sort of man you'd want to have to organise a surprise birthday party for. So that's a Muslim ridiculed. Time now for some anti-Islamic stand-up. Jan Moyer in the Daily Mail says there's not enough stand-up about Islam. There's loads, actually, if you think about it. There's Roy Chubby Brown, your spiritual king in this region. He goes round and round doing loads, and Tim Minchin's done stuff about Islam to stadiums full of people. Of course, there's dozens of British comics of an Islamic background talking about it all the time, night after night. So the thing really, there's so much stand-up about Islam. I don't really know what to bring to the table. So what I've been trying to do on this tour is something that's not been done before. I've been trying to do observational comedy, yeah? That's kind of BBC One, ITV One sort of, oh, look at that kind of stuff. I've been trying to do observational comedy of a specifically anti-Islamic bent, yeah? Anti-Islamic observational comedy. I've had some good reviews for that, you know, people going, oh, brilliant. Like Islamophobic Michael McIntyre, that was good. Superb, the John Bishop of cultural relativism. So, here we are now, Sheffield, with some anti-Islamic observational comedy. Anti-Islamic observational comedy. Observational comedy. Have you seen these Muslims they have now? It's the end of that bit. People up there going, oh, now it's picking up. I've got 3 anti-Islamic one-liners now that I'm hoping to sell on to Roy Chubby Brown. Here they are. Hey, you know we're 1 in 2 kids born in Britain today. It's called Mohammed, and that's just the girls. I've not got the exact figures. Do you know 1 in 2 Islamic hate preachers in Britain today has got hook for his hands and a bad I've done no research. You know, 1 in 2 people claiming to be a spokesperson for the entire British Muslim community is in fact the unelected leader of a non-democratic special interest fringe group given ideas above its station by a misguided new Labour community bridge building initiative. Some laughs, a lot of people going, what was that? What was that supposed to be? Tell you what that was, my coming era friends. That was the best joke about Islam in Britain anyone's ever done. That's what that was. It was even-handed, it was informed. It's what you say you want, isn't it? You go, do stuff about Islam. I just did. Not like that, Stu. Not where you have to know anything. When we said do stuff about Islam, we meant make fun of their hats. What can I do? I've got nothing. I drive around, I look after kids, I've got nothing. But fair enough for not laughing at that. You know, it's an edgy subject. It makes people uncomfortable. You know, you're thinking, oh, where's this going? If you've got stuff that makes people uncomfortable, what they say on the comedy courses now, they say, take the curse off it, take the edge off it, personalise it, yeah? Make it personal to you. So I was walking around with my son, who's real. I was walking around where I live with my son, and there was a Muslim lady coming along the road towards us. It's a very cosmopolitan area where I live in London. It's a very cosmopolitan area. No, it is. My dentist, it's a very cosmopolitan area. My dentist is actually a lesbian. At least I assume she's a lesbian because she had me out under general anaesthetic, and when I came round, I hadn't been sexually assaulted. There was some rectal bleeding. You expect that at my age, obviously. Different pockets of laughs, weren't there, throughout that joke? But never a point where the whole theatre laughed as one. Why not? Not a very good joke, that's why. Let's go back over it and see what was wrong with it. Yeah? Now, it wasn't clear, was it, what the point of it is? That joke. What was I saying? Was I saying, hey, guess what? I'm so attractive, my dentist must be a lesbian, otherwise she would have sexually assaulted me when I was unconscious. Was that the joke? Some people thought so. Or was the joke that I was implying that all dentists are indiscriminate sexual predators? It wasn't clear, not everyone laughed. So what I did, I don't know if you noticed, I put an extra bit on the end, didn't I, about rectal bleeding. And for a lot of you, that just tipped the joke over, didn't it, into being funny enough to laugh at. And that's an old stand-up trick. We all do that. If you watch a lot of stand-up, you'll see we all do it. Got a joke, not funny enough. Put an extra bit on the end about anal rape or rectal bleeding. And that will just nudge it into being funny. Old stand-up trick, extra bit on the end, anal rape, rectal bleeding. We have a name for that technique in the trade. We call that Boyle's Law. Anyway, I was walking along where I live with my son. He's 4 years old. There's a Muslim lady coming towards us, full burqa, just her eyes showing. And my son, he's 4. He meant nothing by this. He looked at her and then he said to me, "Is that a ghost?" Right? I thought, what are you going to say? What am I going to say? So I said to him, I said, "No, it isn't a ghost. It's a lady, and she's religious, and she believes in God, and she believes that God wants her to cover her face." I thought, that's all right, say that. And then my son said, "Why?" And it was at that point I realised I'd reached the limit of my knowledge of Islam. I don't really know any more about it than that, and the killings and stuff, and neither do you? You don't know anything about it either. Even those of you with an Islamic background are normally quite hazy about the details when pressed, and that's why it's so difficult to do jokes with any real depth on the subject, because there isn't really enough of a shared collective pool of knowledge between performer and audience to be able to move off the most obvious areas, really. So stop sending me your stupid fucking email. Why? That's always a terrible moment in parenting, isn't it, if you've got kids? Why? Now, normally, I just say, "Because I say so." And I'll leave it at that. Well, that wouldn't work in this situation, if you think about it. God wants her to cover her face. Why, Dad? Because I say so. That is handing a child a lifetime of psychological illness, isn't it? 40 years later, he's in therapy. "When did you first decide that your father had power over the gods?" Always Spanish, aren't they, those blokes? Yeah, you like that? A switcheroo? He sounded German, turned out he was Spanish. Not impossible, is it? Could have been born in Spain, trained in Germany, come over here to work. Maybe it's not such a funny situation after all. You have to watch out. Some of the jokes are traps. They're not meant to be laughed at. You walked into it. Why? You know, I mean, 10 years ago I wouldn't have faffed around trying to say the right thing. I just said to him, "It's because she's religious, and that's the same as being mentally ill." But the problem is now, right, my wife, his mother, who I love, she's proper religious, going to church Catholic. So these days, I have to maintain a gossamer-thin false veil of painfully begrudged tolerance for people's mad beliefs. If I wanted to make me a fucking sandwich. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Just for Laughs, the 95th Montreal International Comedy Festival, bringing you the best of North American stand-up. So I said to my wife, shut up, bitch, suck my dick, lick my ass, and make me a fucking sandwich. That's all it is for 2 weeks. First week in English, second week in French. Weirdly, in French, that sentence sounds rather delightful. Listen. Tais-toi, salope. Caresse mon cul avec tes langues. Caresse ma bite avec tes lèvres. Et quand t'es fini, sois gentil et fais-moi une putain de délicieux baguette. Et puis, je saignais de mon anus. No? Right. Okay, usually, when we're not filming the show, that joke goes so well that I end the first half on that. Just saying the end of my anus, people, yeah, brilliant. Callback in French, applause. People go, yeah, and I go, yeah, that's the end of that. Can't end it like that, can you? You can't end it with 500 Sheffield people just looking at you. Can I have about five minutes, yeah? You've got enough tape? Right, okay. Well, I'm going to explain what the joke is. I'm going to do it again. Okay. Yeah, because I want to. You know, I said I wasn't going to do anything differently just because we were filming it. I am going to do this differently because it'd be really awkward. You know, it's been a high point outside of Chef. I don't know. Okay. Just saying into my anus, right? That is a callback to the idea that you put a bit about rectal bleeding on the end of a joke to, and that's just saying into my anus. That's I'm bleeding from my anus in French, right? And it was about 3 minutes ago, the setup for that. I'll tell you what's funny about that is I got this comic, Hills Barker, to translate that. And she said, it's Je saigne de mon anus. And I said to her, I'm going to say anus, because then people will have no excuse for not making the... We don't do languages here, son. Even if it's obvious what the words mean. It's a point of principle. Okay, it doesn't matter, but... Forget that, I'll dub a big... You'll see this when it's made, there'll be a huge laugh dubbed on, it won't matter. But I'll cut away to a football stadium of people. I'll get some footage from Michael McIntyre's video, I'll cut it in. Okay, the worry is, though, that there's a whole second half to come, right? And that was a 3 minutes, that callback. And the problem is, the second half is all things that relate back to the first half. And I don't know if up there you've been... I don't know what's gone in. I think the problem is that people today, especially young people actually, you're used to watching little tiny things on your phones and stuff, aren't you, and short things. This isn't a succession of moments. This show is a continuum, right? It's like a narrative. So it's not like, when I've said something, you can't go, oh, he said that, I'll erase that from my mind. It might come back. It's like if you meet someone in life, you think, oh, I've met them, I'll forget them now. They might, so... And I don't know what's gone in, and it doesn't matter, but if I really wanted to film this here because it was so good here before, and I don't know what's happened tonight. It's okay, but it's not, and so I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to go back over the first half, and not every line of it. So I'm just going to flag up things that you should have noticed. And then when we get to edit this, you know, if it's still not, the second half's not really good, I won't be looking and thinking, oh, I could have, you know, I'll have done whatever I could have done, yeah? You all right for... Okay, so I came out, didn't I, at the beginning? I did. Remember when there was no one here? And then I was here, that's when I came out. I know, you didn't, because you were talking, weren't you, to your friend, going, oh, what have you been down? I went down the moor today. With me, I think about everything, and there was loud rock music, one that Armand Duel 2, that was from Germany, and I went, oh, don't play that, that's too loud, you know. Play something funny in the second half. I always get them to play that music. It's setting up a joke for the start of the second half. You'll see when I come back on. So I came out and I talked about, I did sort of topical stuff, didn't I? About 5 minutes of topical stuff. And I expect some of you are going, no, we don't need to listen to this, it's sort of warm-up stuff. You'd be very wrong, because it looked very casual, didn't it? Oh, what about this bit of news? But it all was about ideas of idealised societies, wasn't it, if you think about it? Yeah, and that's what I wanted you to log from that went in. Then I did about 10 minutes, I read out things other people said in a sarcastic voice, and it was funny, wasn't it? Remember that? Yes, it was, you all laughed. You can't go, oh, that's all it was, and withdraw your laughter and... You can't. Then I did about 15 minutes on something funny my son said, didn't I? Now, it was about Islam. It was quite interesting. But at the end of the day, what kind of a routine was that? Oh, dear. It was a don't kids say the funniest things routine, wasn't it? And if you're a 44-year-old stand-up and you're in Sheffield on a Friday night talking about something funny your kids said, you should kill yourself, I think. What can I do? I've got nothing. I've got no stuff. I drive around, I look after kids, I've got nothing. I have no experiences, I don't know about anything to talk about. I drive round and round. 150 nights I was on the road last year, you know. I'm not complaining, I'm very lucky to be able to do this, and I enjoy performing, you know, not tonight, obviously. It's not enjoyable, it's interesting. It's not enjoyable. It's like being trapped in a thicket. Trying to get out, you know. It's an interesting problem, it's not fun, is it? 150 nights, and I used to like that in the 80s going round, but now everywhere's the same, you know. Sheffield's quite interesting, it keeps changing. It'd be nice when you've decided what it's supposed to be, I think. That place, the park, I remember when that was awful. That's brilliant now, isn't it? You know, you never know what... It's, but most places are just, they're all the same now. There's an old bit that was like a Victorian slum. That's now the bit everyone wants to live in. Then there's a 70s bit that was the bit everyone liked in the 70s, that's now the bit everyone hates. And in that bit, there's a Poundland, a Superdrug, and a branch of the Works. In every town. And the Works, to be honest, that's the only thing to me that's interesting about travelling around Britain now. Going in the Works. Because you never have any idea what's going to be in the Works. It's sort of stocked at random. It's nominally a bookshop, but it appears to be run by people who have a deep-seated suspicion of books. And they'll do anything they can to stock anything other than a book. You go in the Works, is this a bookshop? Yes. Have you got this new Ragnarok by A.S. Byatt? It's won loads of awards. No. Have you got this new book, Savage Continent, about the aftermath of World War II? It's been, no. Have you got any novels? Dan Rhodes has got a new novel out, a novelist, everyone thinks he's good. No. Have you got a triple pack of 1930s Belgian horror films? A 1998 Richard Bacon calendar. And a papier-mâché make-your-own concentration camp craft kit. Oh, we've got them, yeah. And they're on a 3 for the price of 2 offer. Apart from the Works, going around the country is just... Go back to the same places year after year. It makes you feel... 25 years, it makes you think about your own mortality, your own life. But I'll give you an example of what I mean. My dad, for example, right, my dad, he's dead now. But my dad was a rep for a cardboard company. And he spent 50 years driving around the motorways, showing people samples of cardboard. Not real cardboard, obviously. Samples of what cardboard could be like. I think about him, I think about me. I've spent 25 years driving around the motorways showing people samples of jokes. Not... Do you see how impossible it is to work this room? Because you can't, because down here I don't even need to finish that joke off. They've thought, oh yeah, samples of jokes, that'll be the same as samples of cardboard, samples of what jokes could be like. But up there you're just going, oh, why is he talking about cardboard? What's that? It's actually not doable. Because down here, this is like a vision of this is what it could be like, you know? Where you're not like some dick like doing jokes, you're just putting an idea out there, and they play around with it and it comes back to you. It's like a dialogue, it's like a vision of a utopian, and then up there, it's never going to be that because of... It's extremely, particularly tonight, it's frustrating that this would happen when it's being filmed, because you can feel this could be the best, it is within sight of being the best stand-up that's ever been filmed. But it won't be, because about a third of the room... That's why I came back here. I love this theatre. This was 2 or 3 years ago, this was the biggest room I ever played. I thought, I'll go to Sheffield, I'll do it there. And it's not, it's... And what's so frustrating? 25 years, and I've been, every year, build up, getting them people, and I don't know what's gone wrong. I don't know what's gone wrong. You can feel down here, it's like a different thing you can feel down here. God, I wish I was dead. Not dead. I wish I was a dead comedian. Because you love dead comedians, don't you, all of you? You love the dead comedians, don't you? Oh, Frank Carson. Oh, dead. Brilliant Frank Castle when he's dead. Oh, Ken Goodwin, oh, dead Ken Goodwin, oh, he's brilliant. The middle class people, oh, dead Bill Hicks, oh, Bill Hicks. Dead Bill Hicks, oh, he's brilliant. I wish I was dead Bill Hicks. I wish I could be judged on 2 hours of material. The lazy, dead, fat Bill Hicks. Be easy to be dead, Bill. It's easy being dead. The hard thing, if you're a comedian, is to stay alive. Keep on knocking out a new 2 hours every year. Gradually decreasing the quality of your own obituary. This is an incredibly frustrating situation for to be filming tonight and to have this. Makes me feel impotent, you know, powerless, no control. Of course, my wife wants me to have a vasectomy. Or even she admits there isn't really any pressing need. Do you feel, when you've been married a long time, you feel that your partner stops viewing you as a sexual being? Do you find that? Sheffield. I do. That's an example of what I mean. I've been married 7 years. 6 years ago, we've been married a year. I went off to work in Germany for 2 months. And while I was there, I ran out of pants, yeah? Now, like a lot of men, I don't really know where my pants come from. I always seem to have some, but I don't remember ever buying them. So I bought some pants in Hanover, German pants, blue pants with yellow stars on them. I got back to London, 1 year of marriage, and my wife said to me, "You've bought new pants. Are you having an affair?" Right? Which is funny, but it's also, it's good because within that is the suggestion that I could have an affair. That someone could desire me, that I could desire someone as a sexual being in her eyes. 6 years later, 7 years of marriage, I've been on this tour for months. I ran out of pants. So I bought some new pants in Lincoln, I think. Lincoln pants. Green ones, you know. Didn't have any other colours. It hides the stains, doesn't it? Of my urine, which is green for the purposes of this. I've got some new pants, 6 years of marriage later, 7 years of marriage. And my wife said, "Oh, you've bought new pants. Did you shit yourself at work?" It doesn't give me any pleasure to get such big laughs off a shit your pants joke. Not when some of the good stuff's gone to nothing. And when there's people that have bought their friends and they'll be saying to them afterwards, "Oh, they said to them before they brought them, "Oh, he's like a postmodern, he's very clever, he deconstructs the art of before," and their friends are going, "I like the shitted pants bit." Dear, what can you do? I got nothing. I drive around, I look after kids. I didn't want to end the first half on a shitted pants bit. Give me any... I wanted to end it on a callback in French. But you wouldn't have that, would you? You get the shows you deserve. That's it. That's how the first half ends. Please welcome back Stewart Lee. It's not really what thank you for coming back. So many of you. Now, when my son said, is that a ghost, yeah, from the first half? He's not mad, okay. What it is, his main thing that he likes is Scooby-Doo, right? And he watches Scooby-Doo all the time on TV and DVD. So consequently, he's on the lookout for Scooby-Doo stuff in his life, you know, like monsters, ghosts, vampires, pirates, zombies, whatever, because he watches Scooby-Doo all the time. And consequently, I watch Scooby-Doo all the time as well, because I do a lot of the childcare, yeah, by which I mean I watch TV with him. I care for him in that way. So, I watch Scooby-Doo all the time, that's what I mainly do. I mean, I drive around doing gigs, or I watch Scooby-Doo with a child, so consequently I don't really know about anything, I don't really have any experiences or know about anything at all. I just know about Scooby-Doo and driving around and Scooby-Doo. I mean, if you'd seen me, a couple of years ago here when I was good, by now I would have talked about Franz Kafka and ancient history and all like amazing stuff that had happened to me. But I don't know about anything anymore. I just don't have any interests or experiences. I mean, in the last 18 months, for example, I've only seen 2 films. I've seen Archipelago, which is an art film about middle-class people on a disappointing holiday. And I've seen a 70-minute cartoon called Scooby-Doo and the Pirate Zombie Jungle Island 180 times. And I now know more about Scooby-Doo and the Pirate Zombie Jungle Island than I do about any other aspect of human culture or history. And I hear the pirate zombies when I sleep, and I see the jungle island in my dreams, and that's all that I really know about. I don't know about anything else anymore. And it's very difficult being a stand-up only knowing about a pirate zombie jungle island. Because I might see something, I think, I could write a routine about that, but I can't, because I can only think of it in terms of a pirate zombie jungle island. And that's not of interest to people. So I've got nothing. Have you seen those rope bridges in the jungle? Yeah? Come on, we've all seen them, yeah? The jungle... Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The jungle canyon rope bridges, yeah? Over the canyons in the jungle, the rope bridges. They're, the thing about with all the planks, yeah? The thing about them that I've noticed, the jungle canyon rope bridges, yeah, they're always broken, aren't they? Have you noticed that? Yeah, all the planks are all smashed, aren't they? And all the vines are all frayed and hanging... Unbelievable. Why? Why are the jungle... Why? That's what I don't know. Why are the jungle canyon rope bridges always broken? Tory cuts. don't care about the Jungle Canyon rope bridges. They don't use them, do they, the Tories? Flying around in helicopters and chauffeur-driven cars. They pretend to be like us, don't they? But every now and again the mask slips, doesn't it, when they pretend to be like us, the Tories. Remember what David Cameron said about his wife, Samantha, when he was pretending to be like us? He said, in many ways, Samantha is a very ordinary girl. She once used a Jungle Canyon rope bridge. Did she fuck? Because they're always broken, aren't they? Didn't used to be like that, did it? In the old days, in the 40s, in the 50s, after the war, back then, the Jungle Canyon rope bridges, you could see your face in them, couldn't you? Yeah. All the planks were all shiny, all the vines were tight, weren't they? After the war, 40s, 50s, post-war socialist utopia, contract with the people, call the midwife, etc., etc. Yeah? Remember what William Beveridge said in 1942, architect of the post-war socialist democracy. This is what he said. 1942, William Beveridge. He said, all mystery investigating teenagers and dogs. Dog. You seen that on Scooby-Doo when they go, is that your dog? And he goes, dog, like that. Yeah, because he thinks he's a human, Scooby-Doo. He's very indignant about being called a dog. They go, would your dog like a drink? He goes, dog, like that. You have to watch it a lot. He thinks he's a human, Scooby-Doo, not a dog. Although, weirdly, he is always sexually aroused by female dogs. Female dog comes in, his heart's going like that. So he thinks he's a human, Scooby-Doo, but with very low self-esteem. William Beveridge, 1942, architect, post-war socialist, democratic utopian vision of a better tomorrow. This is what he said. He said, all mystery investigating teenagers and dogs of working age, yeah, remember, should pay a weekly national insurance contribution. That's what he said. And in return, all the Jungle Canyon rope bridges will be fully maintained in a safe condition. That's what he said, William Beveridge, 1942. Not like that now, is it, Sheffield? Worse, if anything, wasn't it? In the 80s, under Thatcher, yeah, remember? Now, I know it was pretty bad here in the 80s, under Thatcher. Pretty bad where I grew up, in the Midlands, in Birmingham, in the 80s, under Thatcher, the Jungle Canyon rope bridges, well, there weren't any, basically. You go out in the 80s, in Birmingham, under Thatcher, and you go, oh, just cross over this canyon, there'll be nothing there. Just an empty cliff, with some stakes hammered in the top of it, no bridge, just old torn vines hanging down, blowing in the wind. And then you'd look down down in the canyon in Birmingham in the 80s, under Thatcher, and there'd be all the Birmingham people all falling down there. Dead from the fall, but with third-degree burns. Because on the way down, they spill their hot bovril on themselves. Yeah, all the Birmingham people in the 80s under Thatcher, walking along, mug of hot bovril in one hand, tin pail in the other, a tin pail full of faggots. Noddy Holder from Slade controls the faggot supply. Walking along in the 80s, the Birmingham people under Thatcher, mug of boiling hot bovril, tin pail of faggots. Oh, just go over this rope bridge. Ah, there isn't one. Ah, I'm falling down. Oh, I've spilt all this bovril on me. Dead in a canyon, yeah? People up there, they're going, oh, this routine's gone on a bit long. I expect to stop doing it and talk about something else. No, I won't do that. It's picked up though, hasn't it, from earlier? It's a bit better atmosphere now. What happens is, at half-time, people have a little chat with their friends, and they go, oh, what do you think? Oh, I like it. Oh, I do as well then. Make me sick, people like that. I'd rather they just sat there hating it than lied, do you know what I mean? Bear it. You're all right, aren't you? You've picked up. The worst crowds are London the week before Christmas. It's a waste of time. People just go out at random to anything. And yeah, I normally sell stuff after the show. I wasn't going to bother tonight, but I might do now. It's been all right. Well, you don't just want to sit there with loads of people filing past, spitting at you. But it'd be all right, wouldn't it? It'd be all right. And I was selling stuff in London afterwards at Christmas, and I heard a young girl about 20, and she went, I didn't really get that stuff about the Jungle Canyon road bridges, to be honest, she said, because I wasn't born in the 80s. Oh, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? There's a young woman, she's thinking, oh, if only I'd been born in the 80s. I'd remember when there was a funding deficit at both national and regional level for the provision of Jungle Canyon road bridges. Young people are idiots, aren't they? I hate them. I can't stand anyone under 40. I can't bear them. No, if you're young, why would you come to this? You know, old man wandering around, you know. You've got your own things, haven't you, young people? Circuses and fairs, that's what you want. Sticks with balloons tied to them. Do you remember the canyons in the 80s under Thatcher? Not the rope bridges, we've done with that now. Remember the canyons in the Thatcher days? Down here, you remember them a bit, don't you? Some of you, I'll just talk to you. The canyons under Thatcher, they were infested, weren't they? Remember the infestations in the canyons in the Thatcher days? In the 80s, they were infested, weren't they, the canyons in the 80s under Thatcher with pirate zombies? Remember all the pirate zombies in the canyons in the Thatcher days? Yeah, I'll just talk to you, I won't bother with them. Remember the canyons, the pirate zombies, you'd look down, wouldn't you? In the canyon, there were all pirate zombies, one arm. Yeah. Why? Why were the canyons in the 80s under Thatcher infested with pirate zombies? Privatisation. Well, it was, wasn't it? It didn't affect the shareholders, did it, if the canyons were infested with pirate zombies or not? No. The shareholders' dividends were ring-fenced against pirate zombie infestation. Remember what Thatcher... This is the last bit of this routine now. Remember what Thatcher said in the 80s about the Jungle Canyon road bridges? She didn't care. Yeah, you remember, don't you? People going, yeah, we remember. What a good crowd they are, right? Because what the people down here are doing is they bought into the idea. The idea of this routine is that I'm pretending that in the 80s there was an issue about Jungle Canyon road bridge. I'm doing that as a satire of Thatcherite economic social policy. And the people down here, they've decided to sort of play the part of an audience from a parallel universe where that was true. And they're going, yeah, remember that. Oh, you're nowhere near that, are you? You're not even approaching that. They're confident enough, they've got the jokes in the first half. Now they've decided to experiment with taking on different personalities, seeing if they can still get the jokes whilst in character. They're running rings around you. They're running rings around you, I tell you. Remember what Thatcher said in the 80s about the Jungle Canyon road bridges? Yeah, we do, yeah. This is what she said, Thatcher, yeah? She said, a mystery investigating teenager or dog. Dog! They like that. They like dog in a high voice up there. That's what they like. That's your favourite bit, isn't it? Me saying dog in a high voice. It's not my favourite bit of this routine. Do you want to know? My favourite bit of this routine is the phrase, The shareholders' dividends were ring-fenced against pirate zombie infestation. But no one up there was laughing at that. Which confirms to me the suspicion that for most of the evening, we've been talking at cross purposes. This is what she said, Thatcher. She said, a mystery investigating teenager or dog. Dog who? Beyond the age of 26, remember this one, finds himself still using a Jungle Canyon rope bridge. This is what she said, Thatcher. Can count himself a failure in life. That's what she said. Thatcher, 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 the Jungle Canyon rope bridge snatcher. Don't clap that. Scooby-Doo Thatcher routine. Jesus. A waste of time. You know what's awful about that? In 1986, when I started writing comedy with Richard Herring, you should know, we made a list of 10 things that we thought were too cliched to do jokes about in 1986. And 2 of the things on that list of 10 things in 1986 was Scooby-Doo and Thatcher. We all grow up, don't we, to become the thing we despised as teenagers. No. What can I do? I've got nothing. I drive around. I look after kids. I've got nothing. I have to do whatever comes to hand, you know? I've got nothing. I rang up a lot of the young comics to ask them what to do. Yeah, you seen them? All these young comedians they have now, all the Russells, you've seen them, all called Russell, aren't they? All these Russells, yeah, loads of them, loads and loads of Russells. You strike one down, another springs up in its place. They're like the skeletons in Jason of the Argonauts. But skinnier. And with less joy behind their eyes. So I rang them up, I rang up all the Russells in their hutch. I said, hey, you Russells, Russell, I said to them, I've got no material. What shall I do? They said, oh, never mind, just run around. I've got nothing, I drive around, I look after kids, I've got nothing, I've got no ideas. This show opened in November in London. In October, I'd got no ideas what to put in it. I was desperate. I used to go out in the afternoon and drive round and round the North Circular Road in London, just hoping something funny would happen to me. But it didn't. And I just ended up with loads of ideas for routines about the names of shops I'd seen at the side of the road. So I was driving around the North Circular, yeah? And I drove past World of Leather. I thought, World of Leather? Imagine if it was a world made out of leather. I hope it is. There might be 5 minutes in it. So I went into World of Leather, but it was just a shop. I went up to the World of Leather man. He wasn't made out of leather. It's just made out of all skin and hair and stuff. I said to him, hey, I thought this would be a world of leather. And he said, how would that work? Did you get a leather chair like that? Roll it over on its side. Like a leather hill. Said, get out. I was desperate. I got back in the car, went south down the North Circular, west along the A40 towards Oxford, past past World of Golf. I thought, yes, World of Golf. Imagine if it was a world made out of golf. I hope it is. I hope it is. There might be 5 minutes in it. But I went in to World of Golf. It's just a shop. And I went up to the World of Golf, man. It wasn't made out of golf. It was just made out of all meat and water. 95%. Did you know that? 95% water, all of us, and yet they say there's a shortage. I said to him, hey, I thought this would be a world of golf. He said, how would that work? I said, yeah, you get a golf club, stick them in the ground like that, like trees. Golf bag kicked over on its side, it's like a cave. Golf balls, they'd be things in nature that are white and round. Like the moon. Or a worm's egg on the rim of a cat's bottom. And he said, I'm going to have to stop you there. He said, this world of golf. What you're describing is world of golf equipment. Golf is an abstract noun. Get out. I said, I don't care. I don't even like golf. I hate it. I was desperate. I got back in the car. I drove east along the A40 north, up the North Circular, to Staples Corner. Office World. There's an Office World. Oh, it's a world made out of offices. I went in the car park, and the Office World man came running across the tarmac towards me. The Office World man. And he had a typewriter for a head. And staplers for hands, and mouse mice mats for feet, and a desk tidy pen holding thing for his heart, and he had a Balamorni ruler for his cock. With Miles Jupp's face on it. And he had a pen lid, yeah? You know a pen lid on a pen lid, yeah? That was his nose, a pen lid nose. And he had little stickers about that big, little white stickers round. You push the middle out like a polo, like a flat polo dimensioned sticker, and you use them for reinforcing a flimsy document in a binder, yeah? You've seen these little white polo stickers, and he had about 1 million of them, yeah? And they were his mind. All the thoughts, yeah, going round. Then he had a piece of string about that long, green, like wool, fibrous, like wool it is, with a tag on either end. Treasury tags, little metal tags on either end. He had about 1,000 of them, all tied up in a big spiral, and that was his DNA. Inside him, subatomic. Crick and Watson, yeah, DNA. And he had rubber, yeah, and that was his brain. And he had, I don't know if they make these anymore, actually, like a black dial with letters and numbers on it, black, in a housing, a printer housing. Remember these? I know. You feed a strip of... Remember this? Yeah. Huh? Yeah. You can't get them now, can you? No. You feed a strip of like plastic through it. You print out words, make a label for a desk or whatever. Anyway, not that. Forget about that. I'm not interested in that. Did you have one? Do you remember the strip that went through it? I'm not interested in the printer thing or the top part of the strip. What I'm talking about, underneath the strip, there was a... what? A thing that you tore off, you remember? So protect the sticky part of it. Underneath, a transparent strip that you tore off the... That's what I'm talking about. A transparent strip. He had that cut up into loads of much smaller, thinner strips. And they were like, you know when you go, ugh, and you can see all bacteria on your eyes. And he had a pencil sharpener, you know them pencil sharpener? Put a pencil in it, don't you? Sharpen it up, yeah? Pencil sharpener, yeah? Pencil goes in, turn it round, comes out sharp. Pencil sharpener, you've seen that? That was his anus. Anyway, I said to him, what's going on here? He said, well, I heard you were coming. So I quickly underwent all these painful and expensive surgical procedures, having parts of my body replaced with stationery, some of which is no longer commercially available. I had to stay up late and bid for it on eBay. And I did all this, he said, with a view towards thwarting your attempts to get material out of coming here. I said, well, you didn't thwart it, did you? Demonstrably, I said to him, I got about 4 or 5 minutes out of it. He said, I thwarted it in the long run, he said. I said, how? He said, well, he said, you're a professional comic, I'm not going to patronise you. He said, you'll know the rule of 3. I said, that's right. Any list of things, funny things, should be 3 things long. The third one should be the funniest. He said, that's right. So you should have done 3 of the things, and the third one should have been either the Balamorni rule of penis or the pencil sharpener anus, he said, but only the pencil sharpener anus if you'd had the foresight to tie it back into the bleeding. But he said, what I did, he said, you should have got in there 1, 2, 3 out. What I did, he said, was I had way more surgical procedures done than I knew would be optimally funny. But knowing your work, he said, I've seen you, I know your work. I knew that you would feel obliged to list them all. And that would mean that while there were pockets of hilarity in the room, on the whole, a list that long would cause the trust and energy in the room to dissipate. So I've got nothing. I drive around, look after kids. I've got nothing. I thought I'd copy some of the award-winning stand-up shows, the shows that are winning awards now. Copy them, yeah? And the shows that are winning awards now, they're sad stand-up shows. That's the new thing, sad stand-up shows. Oh, my dad's dead. Oh, I've had chemotherapy. Oh, I've got divorced. Oh, I'm adopted. You seen these sort of shows? They won't be in a place like this. They'll be in the little arts centres and whatever. To be honest, by the time a comedian's playing here, they're creatively spent normally. Little, sad comedy shows. And then at the end, a bit of sad music comes in, Claire de la Lune or something like that. And the comedian goes, but despite everything, I learned that life's like... And, you've seen these sad comedy shows? No, you know what I'm talking about? You're not a comedy crowd, are you, really? Russell Kane's done one. You've heard of him. He's on the telly a lot. No? He's done one about his dad dying. He's done a sad, award-winning stand-up show about his dad dying. Apparently his dad dies, and then he goes a bit mad, and then he becomes famous, and then he ends up getting off with loads of glamour models. It's about how awful that was for him. I've not seen it. Actually, my wife saw it. Russell Kane's show about his dad dying, and she said it was great. She said what was brilliant about it was you weren't expecting it because it was a comedy, but at the end, she said, it was actually very moving, and she was crying. And I said to her, you were crying at the end of a stand-up show? She said, yeah. I said, well, it's not any good then, is it? You know, I'm from the 80s, admittedly, right? I'm old school, but I think if you go and see a comedian and at the end you're crying, right? That is someone who cannot do their job. But like I say, I haven't seen Russell Kane's show about his dad dying. I'm sure it's very good. What I am impressed by about it, though, is the fact that he managed to not resolve his grief for long enough to tour it commercially. Oh, my dad's dead. Ah, shut up. Shut up and give your award back, idiot. All our dads are dead, aren't they? All our dads die. We all die. What are we? We're just meat being shoveled into a grave. Do you want to hear that on a night out? Sad comedy shows. It makes me sick. It's sad. What a sad. What an insult to ordinary people in a recession. Yeah, let's go out. Oh, I've just lost my job. I'm so depressed. I'll go and see the comedian to cheer me up. Count out all the money from the emergency. Where's it on at? The O2, that's £47. Parking, that's £30. And we'll need a baseball hat with a comedian's face on it. We've just got enough. Oh, great. Oh, I'm crying now. Sad comedy. I've only got one arm. Fuck off, back to New Zealand. Not even real. People doing... I could do a sad comedy show. Loads of awful things have happened to me. Adopted, divorced parents, 65,000 born-again Christians tried to send me to prison. You don't see me doing stand-up shows about that. Because I've got some dignity and self-respect. People doing shows about themselves. How self-indulgent is that? I couldn't do a show about myself if I wanted to. I don't know who I am. Who am I? I don't know. We're defined by what we do. I don't do anything. Drive around and look after kids. You couldn't do a stand-up show about that. People wouldn't stand for it. I don't know who I don't know. Lee Mack knows who he is, doesn't he? Lee Mack. 4.5 million people watch him. They come up to him in the street. Are you Lee Mack? Yeah, I am. People come up to me, they go, oh, Terry Christian. Yeah, a bloke from UB40. What's Tanita Tickerham doing in the Gents? I thought Kim Jong-il was dead. Impossible. All that's happened to me since I went on telly is 500,000 more people now insist to my face that I'm someone else. We're out here this afternoon in the square in Sheffield getting all these carpets in. And, they're not here normally, though. We brought them, we have to get them in. They don't get themselves in, do they? Sorcerer's apprentice. Anyway, a bloke came up to me and he went, it's you, isn't it? I went, yeah. He goes, what are you doing here? So I'm doing a stand-up show in the theatre here in Sheffield tonight. He said, really? Shouldn't you be at the Hague War Crimes Tribunal? Thought I was General Ratko Mladic. Genocidal Serbian warlord. He's 67 years old. It's an impossible situation, because he's got to meet you, isn't it? I've gone, yeah. He thinks that the only dignified way out of it is to allow him to continue to think I am General Ratko now. He said, shouldn't you be at the Hague War Crimes Tribunal? I went, oh, no, you know. The woman out there, she did the forming wrong. She wrote over the line. She went, oh, God, it'll take ages to do all this again. You can go off, you know. He goes, so you've come here? I said, yeah. To Sheffield. To do stand-up comedy. Yeah, you know. I've had an interesting life. There's a sad bit at the end. When I'm caught. I play Claire de Lune, I talk about that. People are in floods. I've won a Chortle Award. He said, no offence, mate, but I think what you've done out there is awful, obscene. And at worst, you should be in prison for life. And at best, you should be executed. And I said to him, well, I agree with you, to be honest. You know. But what do you actually want me to do? Because they, in The Hague, they've said go off. So, you know, what do you want me to do about that? And he went, all right, mate. And then he went off. Got in the dressing room here, laptop, Wi-Fi, internet, looked it up on Twitter. You have to look everything up on Twitter now, don't you? Stay in touch with what's around you. Looked up the bloke's feed on Twitter, comes up. Met General Ratko Mladic in Sheffield today. Much nicer bloke in real life. I hate Twitter, you love it, don't you? Young, you go, Twitter, oh, brilliant, Stu. Virtual online utopian futuristic society, direct communication between the individuals, unfettered by government interference, freedom of information, Arab Spring, we love Twitter. I hate Twitter. The only good thing about Twitter is if I have a mental breakdown and forget everything that had ever happened to me, I could gradually piece my life back together by putting my name into the search engine in Twitter. Because about every 90 minutes, one of you feels obliged to do an update of where I am and what I'm doing. 8:30 a.m, can't believe it. Just seen Stewart Lee taking his son to school on the 393 bus. They're talking about Scooby-Doo, he looks depressed. 10 a.m, can't believe it. I am sitting next to Stewart Lee in the Clock Cafe, Highbury. He is eating a muffin. He looks fat. 11:30 a.m, Hackney celebrity alert. Just seen Stewart Lee walking around Abney Park Cemetery on his own. He looks fat and depressed. 1:30 p.m, wow, Rooney. I've just seen Stewart Lee walking around Dalston Junction on his own, eating a burger in the street. He looks fat and depressed and fat. I hate Twitter. It's like a state surveillance agency run by gullible volunteers. It's a Stasi for the Angry Birds generation. If you're an F-list celebrity, like, makes your life impossible, you're paranoid all the time, being spied on. I'll give you an example of what I mean. Last October, I was driving along the M40. I wasn't going to do a gig this time. I was going to Birmingham to put flowers on the grave of a relative. And I stopped at the Charwell Services. I went in the Waitrose florist there. I got a big bunch of flowers. And on the way out, the woman on the perfume concession stand caught my eye. And she said to me, perfume, sir, to go with the flowers for the lady. And I went, they're for someone's grave. And she went, oh. And the other woman went, oh, no. And then there was all people standing around going, oh, look at what's happened, oh. I thought this will be on Twitter, exactly the kind of thing that goes on Twitter. So I thought I'd say something light-hearted to bring the event to a close, you know. So I said to her, oh, never mind, give us some perfume, I'll spray it around all the graves. Got home, looked it up on Twitter. You have to look everything up on Twitter now, don't you? Stay in touch with what's around you. Woman's feed comes up. The comedian, in inverted commas, Stewart Lee, came in our perfume stand today. He is even less funny in real life. You know what? That didn't happen. It sort of happened a bit. But I changed it for comic effect. Because what really happened is just bleak. I was going to Birmingham to put flowers on a grave. And the woman did say to me, perfume, sir, to go with the flowers for the lady. But I didn't say any of that stuff. Just said, oh, for fuck's sake. Excuse me? Yeah, in your job, I'm not threatening you, I'm just saying. Look, there's a lot of reasons, aren't there, why someone could be buying flowers. And I know that you... I know you have to hit targets, but you know, maybe you should think about what all those reasons, what they could be, before you just, you know. So, got home, looked it up on Twitter. Woman's feed comes up. General Ratko Mladic came in our... He's even more grumpy in real life. Internet, Twitter, and I hate it. It drives you mad. Facebook and all these message boards. 5 minutes on Google, right? I can put my name in. I'll find hundreds of people all slagging me off. I'm going to read out some quotes now. 5 minutes on Google. These are real, right? In the context of the show, you have to appreciate this. The first 4 quotes from Americans that I read out, 3 of them were real. I'd have made 1 up. The letters, people complaining about Islam, they were exaggerated versions of real ones I've had. The quote from the guy in Dubai, that was real, verbatim. And then all the things about the Jungle Canyon rope bridges, they were real political speeches from the past. But I replaced the policy things in them. Yeah. From the Scooby-Doo, yeah. Now... Okay, these are all real. 5 minutes on Google. Can I have the jazz music and the lighting change, please? Rowing Rob on The Guardian's Comment is Free site calls me a sneering tosser. Tokyo Fist on YouTube writes, smug elitist liberalism, who is this cunt? Warto15 on Twitter writes, I hate Stewart Lee with a passion. He's like Ian Huntley to me. Huey on YouTube says, Stewart Lee, I will shove my thick cock in your throat, you gay lord. Z Factor on Twitter writes, Stewart Lee addresses an insular cadre of socially challenged, prematurely middle-aged, pseudo-intellectual men. I know, yeah, not as exclusively as I'd like, to be honest. But it'll just be us again soon. It won't last. It can't last. Be back to one night and then be all right. Apudabaya writes, I spent the entire show thinking of how much I want to punch Stewart Lee in his face. The fucking smug-faced cunt. And that's on a website that is actually called beexcellenttoeachother.com. Jimmy Vesper on don'tstartmeoff.com writes, a shit-haired cunt who resides at the very apex of all that is absolute patience-testing wank. Seriously, when there is the comedy equivalent of the Nuremberg trials, this bastard is going to be hung from the highest fucking lamppost, pelted with wasps' nests and dog turds, and eventually blasted with a flamethrower. Fucking hell, he concludes. I can't put into words how much I detest this utter fucking cunt. Man in a banana suit on the Guardian site writes, Stewart Lee has made a career out of smugness. I hope fucking Crohn's disease kills him. Ricardo writes, whenever I see his photo, I dream he's just seen my boot a split second before it rips his face inside out. Shindig on the dugout.net calls me an ageing cunt with an Eskimo face from the 90s. One from Mumsnet here. Queen of the Harpies says, my mate had a huge crush on Stewart Lee, but even she's starting to admit time hasn't been kind to him. And this one's from a Sheffield football website, and it says, I know this guy, not well, but I can confirm that he is a cock. I've spoken to him several times in the past at various get-togethers, although not recently, and he is a pillock. He used to go out with my wife's cousin. He came up a few times for Christmas and one or two other things. I found him condescending and arrogant. Anyway, they've split up now, and my wife's cousin seems a lot happier. I mean, I know who that is, obviously. Unbelievable, isn't it? The funny thing is, I used to really like that guy, you know, and goes, your cousin's husband going to be there at Christmas? Oh, great, you know, get him a wedding present he used to like. He used to get him some records. Then you find that 10 years later you find that, you know. He used to go out and go out with him. We went to the Hyena Club in Newcastle on 1999, November, to see Lewis Schaefer, American comic, and then we went in the comics bar, you know, till about 3 with him. You know, you want a drink, mate? Yeah, brilliant. You know, great. Then you think, what was he actually thinking? You know. Again, I fucking hate this bloke. You know. Don't get that, do you? In your lives, you don't get it. What's done is done. It doesn't come back. His mum, right, the guy who wrote that's mum, I had her to stay with me for about a week in London. When I lived in the flat above the estate agents by the fire station, if you remember that. Not a big flat, you know. She was on some course. She was like an old hippie. I really liked her, actually. I remember it was a Saturday afternoon, and I was putting some old bed together, and I had a record on. She was there. I had an old vinyl, the second album by Dr. Strangely Strange, Irish folk rock band, the 70s. And his mum that wrote that, his mum, she goes, oh, I used to love this record when I was a kid. I haven't heard it for 30 years. And she knew all the words, and, you know. And this was before downloads and CD reissues and stuff, and I said to her, you can have it. And I gave the mum of the guy that wrote that my original Island Pressing pink label gatefold sleeve second Dr. Strangely Strange album, like a cock would. That's a condescending thing to do, isn't it? To give an old woman something of irreplaceable value that she would love. This is just some. I've got a 40,000 word document of all this. Because I thought it'd be funny, look on the internet, see for a bit in the show. But I didn't realise there would be so much. It's like pulling a thread. You start, you can't, and everything unravels. And knowing this is all there, it makes it quite hard to do this if you think about it, right? You think, oh, just go out in the world, interact with some people, have a laugh. Don't walk out during this. Don't. This is bad, right? It's bad for someone to say they hope you die on the internet, but that is worse. What is it about this bit that you don't buy into? You think, oh, I don't feel he's working hard enough, really. The fuck are you? You go out now, do you? Think, oh... I mean, this is obviously nearly the end of the show, isn't it? I can't recover it from this, can I? Oh, I'll go out for a bit, I'll come back in when it's funny again. It won't be. It's not going to be funny again, is it? You can't, you know, you're being a comic when you know you're under surveillance by people that despise you. It's quite hard. You think, oh, I'll go out in the world, interact with some people, get some ideas, have a laugh with them. Go in the shop, have a laugh with the bloke, bit of banter, get home, you know, get some, you get home, you look on the internet, a fucking cunt came in my shop today. He reminded me of a paedophile who would kill a child. I hope he dies from a wasting disease and all cocks go in his mouth. A fucking Eskimo-faced cunt. And it's all there, all out there. And you say, don't you, I've seen you. You go, look at us, virtual online, Facebook friends, Twitter community, virtual online utopian vision of tomorrow's better. What are you? You're like rats fighting in a ditch. Over some piss. So, you'll forgive me if there isn't really much of a show this year. And if it just sort of stops. We went up at. I've done the time that we were supposed to. There are already people walking out. It's not. Well, I'll just do a quick little bit and then we can go. So I was driving around the North Circular and I drove past PC World. And you know what? I couldn't even be bothered to think of anything funny about that. You can do it, can't you? Get in your cars, drive around, look at all the shops, think about their names, and think about how you could misinterpret them for comic effect. Because that's what I have to do. Day after day, for what? For this? For indifference? For people walking out? You do it. Get in your cars, drive around, look at the names of shops, and then you can put it on your Twitter feeds, can't you, fucking miserable Sheffield cunts? And I got back in the car from PC World. I thought, I'm just going to drive home now. There won't even be a proper end to the show, it'll just stop. Then 5 minutes from home, I was in Dalston, and I drove past the butcher's called City Meat. And it was like an illness, I couldn't help myself. Like me, live in a city, get yourself down to city meat. We got all the different meat animals, cows, pigs, chickens, etc. But they live in a city of London. Like me, live in a city, city meat for city people. Get yourself down to city meat. Do the city meat animals graze on the grass of the city farm hackney butcher? No, they don't. Grass is for puffs. The city animals. They live where they find, on the floor, in the city. Like what? Like old chucked away AIDS-infected spunk-tin condoms, discarded hepatitis-ridden heroin needles, licked out Raptor Speed, torn up pornography, crushed Polish beer cans, and ripped up leaflets advertising the Miracle Healing Church, Finsbury Park. Doesn't this diet of filth make them sick, Butcher? Yeah, it does, and they love being sick. The slags. They're the city animals, the city meat. Live in the city, like me, Do you sit there and see me? And this City Meat Butcher's was in London, was it, Butcher?
Yeah, it's in London. City Meat.
Are you sure it's...
City Meat, Jan.
Are you sure you didn't see a butcher's called City Meat on the side of the A40 in Shirley in Birmingham? In between the Charwell services and the cemetery?
No, it's in London.
It was in Birmingham. But you realise there's no way the City Meat bit would be a punchy enough end to the show if the butcher had a Birmingham accent. Do you like me? Do you live in the city? Get yourself down to City Meat. We got all the different meat animals. Pork, that's a pig. Beef, it's cow. Chicken, same chicken. And they run all round the city of Birmingham and they're very happy, like, because I don't know if you know, but in the last few years there's been a lot of redevelopment work in there. There's loads of green spaces and all round the cathedral's all been done up, and in Birmingham now there's actually more miles of canals than there is rats. And they're very happy. They eat all the local food. They have a big trough of bovril. They lick that out. And in the morning, about 5:30, Noddy Holder flies over in a Halifax bomber, chucking out all faggots for them to eat. And at the weekend, for a treat, they have a Balti. Now, a lot of people think, wrongly, that a Balti is an Indian dish, but it was actually... originated in Birmingham, all around Sparkbrook and Bearwood, and they actually call that the Balti Triangle now, and it's like a tourist attraction. And at the week, on a Friday night, people will come for a Balti from as far away as Kidderminster. I got nothing. So I got in the car one last time and I drove north to an industrial estate near Sunderland with the sole intention of visiting a retail outlet called Carpet Remnant World. And I stood outside Carpet Remnant World and I was overcome with a terrible sadness, and it was very moving. Carpet Remnant World. It didn't even sell carpets. It sold remnants of carpets. Remnants of human hopes. Remnants of human dreams, and it spoke to me about the gulf between what we are and what we could aspire to be. Imagine, to sleep, to dream of living in Newcastle with a carpet. To wake and to find instead that you live in Sunderland. With some carpet remnants. It's too sad to bear. So I went into Carpet Remnant World, and you know what? It was a world made out of carpet remnants. Tiny, perfectly proportioned carpet remnant homes in long, wide carpet remnant avenues, lined with carpet remnant schools and carpet remnant hospitals and carpet remnant universities, free carpet remnant universities, and carpet remnant libraries that did not labour under the threat of closure, and all of them full of carpet remnant people living in perfect harmony, from each according to his durability, to each according to his weave. And the carpet remnant world man came up to me, and he was made out of carpet remnants, and he said to me, what do you think of our carpet remnant world? And I said, it's beautiful, a utopia. And he said, really? I was expecting you to be more cynical. And I said, why? And he said, I was warned by my friends, the world of leather, the world of golf, an office world and PC world, and both regional outlets of City Meat. And then he said to me, but there's a message for you in carpet remnant world, Stewart Lee, and it's this. That a ragbag of seemingly disparate and unrelated items, people, concepts, things can, if stitched together in the correct order with a degree of sensitivity, give the impression of being a satisfying whole. And I said to him, you mean? And he said, ha ha, yes. Thank you. It's a beautiful theatre to be in, one of the nicest in the country. And thanks to everyone who's worked so hard on putting this up tonight. Thanks a lot. Good night.